Hi, and welcome to the Neuro Show. I'm your host, Sarah Palmer. And the Neuro Show is a show all about brain injury and breaking the barriers. But today we're not just breaking the barriers, we're going to be knocking them out, putting them in arm bars, and having a lot of fun with our very special guest, MMA fighter Gary Goodridge. And Gary is here to raise awareness of multiple concussions, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and depression. So I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Oatley Vigman Personal Injury Lawyers. And if you'd like to contact us, you can email me at info@neuroconnect.ca, or you can join us at on Twitter at The Neuro Show, or on Facebook. Our Facebook page is NeuroConnect. And Gary, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I have to confess, I was never much of a televised fighting watcher, but I don't want to intimidate you, but I do have my black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh.
Yeah. So did you want to share with us your journey?
My journey.
Yeah. Start by telling us maybe a bit about your fighting history.
I started fighting in '96. I fought in UFC 8 was my very first UFC. But before that, I was boxing. When I started boxing way back. I think I was 26 years old. My next birthday, I'm 50 years old, so it's a long time ago. I think Christ was a cowboy. Anyways, I started boxing, and from boxing is where I got my very first concussion ever, in Florida. And what happened was, with this the first concussion I ever had, I didn't even know. I was at a boxing match where the best in Canada faces the best in the United States, and down in Florida, and it was a great time. What happened was, I went down with the Canadian national team to meet the U.S. national team. I fought David Bostow, and this individual was a large man too, because I've been over 200 pounds since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
So this individual was a big man as well. So we fought, and I think we fought 3 rounds, and he beat me from one side of the ring to the other side. And of course, I was too stupid to go down or know anything else. So after the fight, I still can't remember the fight. I have to watch videotapes to remind me of what happened. After the fight, I had no idea where I was, what I was doing. I didn't even know it was boxing. All I knew is my boxing coach was Norm Bell. And I knew he told me, he said, after the fight, whatever you do, just call me. So I knew I just had to call Norm. I didn't know it was after a fight or anything. I just knew I needed to call Norm. So I got to the phone, and I called Norm. Everyone went through the doctor's check and everything, and then I got to the phone. And I called Norm, and I don't know what he said, but he said a few things to me, and he said, well, put somebody else on the phone. Well, at that point, I had already been cleared from what I was doing. You're cleared. You're medically cleared. You can go out now. So talking to Norm I think we talked 30 seconds on the phone, maybe not even that. He realized there was something wrong with me. Asked me to get somebody else on the phone. I grabbed the closest person that I can touch hands with. I pulled him, gave him the phone, and from there they sent me to the hospital, and I spent 3 days in the hospital with a concussion. But that was after the boxing commission and everything in the United States cleared me. You're fine. You can go now. And my coach from Canada, I'm in Northern Florida, figures there's something wrong, because he knew me. He knew what to ask me. I couldn't answer the question, so they realized there was something wrong.
So did anyone prepare you for getting knocked in the head and getting concussions potentially?
Well, you know what? Prepared you for getting knocked in the head, absolutely. I mean, all of boxing is about hitting heads.
But what was the attitude towards concussions?
You know what? The attitude is people back then. People didn't know. It was '96, so or sorry, maybe it was '95. People didn't really know what was going on and what was happening. They don't understand too much. I mean, of course they knew it's a brain injury, but that's as far as it really went. So they just they just told you to man up, man up, relax, come back out there and fight. Just like kids on a football field, the same thing, or a rugby field, they get the same thing. I had it there as well.
So you've had a total of 12 or 14?
14
concussions.
Yes.
Okay, over how long?
14 years.
14 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you start noticing changes?
You know what? I didn't notice pain changes. I heard changes. Meaning that how people would tell you, I just told you that. We just had this conversation 5 minutes ago. Gary, we talked about this. We discussed this a half hour ago, and people kept on saying that to me. And I was like, wow, these people are crazy. You wouldn't understand, like, what people are telling you, well, we just talked about it. No, you didn't talk about this. We're talking about it now. And you'd swear up and down that they did not have a conversation about anything but, yeah, they did. And that's when I had an anger outburst. Got really angry, and from then on, with the anger issue, I need to be fine. And with that, we realized, oh, Gary's got a problem.
So you're,
CTE.
yeah. Did you have prior anger issues?
No, I'm not an angry person at all. I'm a very calm, easygoing guy, and I had severe anger issues, and so that I need to get medicated for that. So that's when the whole ball started rolling. What is wrong with Gary Goodrich? Yes.
And then you found out that you had the early onset dementia.
Yeah.
And I mean, usually people get diagnosed with the chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is CTE, after death, and they do an autopsy, right?
Yeah.
So, but have you mentioned that they might have diagnosed you with that
Actually,
already, or?
Dr. Ashtalani, she's head of neuroscience in University of York, I believe.
Yeah.
Or Mid-Toronto University. Dr. Ashtalani, anyways.
Yeah.
She diagnosed me with CTE.
Oh, wow.
So as far as I know, I was the only person to that point that was ever alive being diagnosed with CTE.
So are they studying you?
Nobody studied me. This was, she said, you definitely have CTE. In order to have CTE, at the point I knew that how you had to dissect your brain and be able to look at the mush and find out what is what. But she diagnosed me with CTE.
I'm laughing because look at the mush.
Yeah.
So what was my next question? So what's life like for you now? Now that you're aware of having the CTE?
Well, my day starts with a lot of pills. I start my day with a lot of pills first thing in the morning. You gotta stop talking like you got marbles in your mouth. Your memory issues, a whole list of different issues that I have that you start the day off with pills, and then you end the day off with pills just to make sure you're going to bed and everything's fine. Because with the pills that you take in the morning, it doesn't make you sleep at night. So I take Cipralex at night for everything else with the same thing, and to help me sleep because.
And for your depression?
I take that's in the morning. That's a morning pills. Cipralex is also depression.
Yeah.
Anti-anxiety for depression.
So can you share your struggles with depression? Because that's also brought on by brain injury.
Oh well, geez, man, I wouldn't get out of my bed for months on end. I'd go to my room, close the door, and only ever leave because I had to walk to the washroom or get something to eat. I would not leave my bed. I was very severely depressed. And just most recently, I was dealing with a lot of depression, and you watch your friends die. I watched a couple of my friends die, and just come up dead. With the disease that I have. Mike Bernardo, Sean O'Hara. I don't know if you know these people, but Mike Bernardo is a friend that I fought in K1, and Sean O'Hara is a guy that I fought in Pride, and you watch your friend die, and they had the same thing that you had, because it's depressing. They're just depression. You fall into a depression. So what I did is I went out and I bought myself a dog. I thought to myself, I got to do something, So after months and months and months of being on my bed, I went out and I got a dog. So I'm gonna go out and get a dog. So I went out and got a dog, and it was the best dog I ever had. It never pooed or peeped or anything in the house. It was just a perfect dog. And I walked it all over the place, and we'd go up and down the road forever, and I was living with me for about 3 weeks. Then I started to let it off leash a little bit. We'd go to the park and I'd let it off leash, and I'd run around and I'd call it and come back. So about a month through having this dog, it ran out of the park and ran inside of the woods, and this I'm calling, hey, Lily. Her name was Lily, and she ran in the park and bumped into another dog and ate the other dog.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So that was another story altogether. And after she ate the other dog, then I had to put this dog down. And when she ate the other dog, she ripped him from here all the way to the back of it. Like, it needed over 100 stitches.
Oh, so the dog's okay? So.
No, it's not okay. They had to put the dog down that night,
no.
so I had to wake up the next morning and put Lily down. That was the hardest thing I ever did, because Lily's 100 pounds of solid muscle and mouth, so I had to hold her while they injected her and the life fall out of her. That was very hard for me to do, and so after that happened, about a day or two later, my mom told me I better go get another dog, because it really helped me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was at home. I wouldn't get out. I wouldn't leave the house. I wouldn't do nothing. And this dog got me out, got me doing other things. And
they force you to take care of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If not, then I was going to leave metal muffins all over the house, So I didn't want any of that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry about your loss.
It's okay. So we ended up getting another dog. I just got another dog about a week ago now.
Yeah.
And it seems to be good. It's a little puppy. It's 2 months old. It's okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, and we're going to cut to break, but we'll be right back with Gary Goodridge. Welcome back to the Neuro Show. We're here with MMA fighter Gary Goodridge to talk about multiple concussions, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and depression. And thanks for joining us, Gary.
Not a problem.
Gary, so you have a reputation of, when you were fighting, getting kind of knocked in the head a lot, but remaining fighting.
Yeah, it was how I fought is knock me out or I'm gonna knock you out. So I fought that way. It was very reckless. At the time, I didn't know. It was just my fighting style.
Yeah.
You knock me out, I'm gonna knock you out, and it just made for an exciting fight. And of course, all the promoters wanted to see it, and everybody, 1,000 million fans want to see it too. So it made for good TV. So that was always the main event, or the first thing to get everybody excited.
Okay, so if knowing what you know today, if you knew it back then when you were fighting and before you got your concussions, would you still do it?
No. I don't know any other way of living now than how I do. But no, I would like to. I still wanted to. I had aspirations of going to school after I finished fighting, and I really wanted to be a helicopter pilot. I'll never do that. But these are things that I always thought that it would happen after this, and really I can't. To read a book, I'm going to forget what I even read the book, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So what was it like, fighting all over the world and traveling and being famous?
You know what? I love being. I love traveling. I love fighting. It was my life. I did it in the drop I had. I used to fight. I fought Fedor. I don't know if you know Fedor, but some of the viewers know Fedor. I fought Fedor with 2 days' notice. Mark Coleman was supposed to fight. I don't know if you know him, but Mark Coleman was supposed to fight Fedor, and he got hurt. He didn't want to fight Fedor at the time, but he got hurt, and I stepped in and fought Fedor in 2 days' notice, and I lost, but I'm okay. He knocked me. Well, he knocked me out. I didn't get a concussion, but he gave me some hard shots.
So then, did you retire because of the concussions?
No, I retired because I got old.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, at least it didn't cut your career short.
No.
Okay. And why do you want to raise awareness?
Well, I think it's important for people to understand, because again, I just said, had I known that how this was going to happen to me, this was going to be my life after, I wouldn't have done that. I think it's important to bring awareness now to the young kids that are looking into fighting and football and doing other things like that for their how they're going to make a living. You know, we have people that aspire to be lawyers and judges and doctors, but they also have people that aspire to be athletes. You know, and to bring awareness to them, like this is important. This is very important.
Yeah. So what would you tell them then?
Well, I would tell them, you know, everybody only have one brain, and you really got to look after that brain. We only have one. It's one of the only things in your body. I think it's the only thing in your body that you can't replace with another one. I mean, you can take your eye out, your ear off, and everything else, your heart, and exchange it, but you can't do it with your brain. And you got to live with this thing for the rest of your life. So, you know, limit your concussions yourselves, and you know whether you're hurt or not.
Yeah.
And it's not being tough. It's not manning up. I'm hurt.
So what do you think of the future? Are you ever nervous? What's your
I'm unsure of my future. I'm absolutely unsure of my future. But you know what? I am who I am, and I keep on going on. It's just staying positive and moving on.
Okay. So one positive thing we can do, I think, is maybe share your arm wrestling tips for future generations.
Yeah, that would be later.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, because I know you're going to want to arm wrestle me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give you any tips. I'll give you tips after, then I'll tell you how to beat me.
Okay. And will I be able to beat you after
No.
these tips? Okay.
You'll be able to do better.
So it's not technique, it's strength, basically.
Yeah, it's mental.
Mental strength?
You gotta, it's arm wrestling, you gotta know. It's funny because it's a really difficult thing. You gotta know what you're doing in order to do well. It's like any other thing, like any job there is. You gotta know what you're doing in order to do well.
Okay. All right, so let's do it.
Let's do it. One finger, you want to try that? Look at the bicep on it first.
That's insulting.
Look at the bicep, look.
That's a strong finger. Okay, let's go.
All
right, so here it goes. I'm not going to hold back on you, Gary.
Okay, good.
He's struggling.
All
right, just take me down. I can't do it.
Okay.
My elbow cracked.
That was a good one.
Okay, Gary, what's your tips? Because I have people asking me. They want to know.
The tips to arm wrestling is that your arm is, you're going to arm wrestle better like this than like this. So bring everything close to you, and you have to make your opponent arm wrestle like this. So if you arm wrestle like this, the further away from your arm your hand is, the weaker it is. So you bring your arm in while you at the same time you're extending your opponent. So that's where you want it, and then move over.
Okay.
That's a simple thing.
That's as simple as it is,
That's very simple.
Is it against the rule to arm wrestle your finger, or what?
No. It's just me giving you a handicap.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the Neuro Show, and thank you so much, Gary, for coming in and raising awareness of chronic traumatic encephalopathy and depression. And we'll see you next time.
It's not acceptable to call me a nigger.
It's not acceptable to call me a spick.
To call me a chink.
To call me a fag.
It's not acceptable to call me a kike.
And it's not acceptable to call me a retard or call yourself or your friends retarded when they do something foolish.
The R word is the same as every minority slur. Treat it that way and don't use it.
Spread the word to end the word.
Hi, and welcome back to the Neuro Show. Today we were speaking with Gary Goodridge, MMA fighter, about chronic traumatic encephalopathy, depression, and multiple concussions. So that was really exciting, and thanks for coming on the show. If you would like to connect with us, you can follow us on Twitter at the Neuro Show. You can also find us on the web, neuroconnect.ca. And if you want to connect with Gary, his Twitter handle is at Gary H. Goodridge.
That's me.
And thanks again to our sponsors, Oatley Vigman Personal Injury Lawyers, and we'll see you next time.